When the camera stopped rolling, Maurice couldn't stop the tears, and what he confessed to Sonia left everyone speechless. Guys, you know that moment when someone you thought had it all together suddenly breaks down and you realize they've been silently drowning. That's exactly what happened on set one late night, and trust me, nobody saw it coming. Maurice, the guy everyone assumes is made of steel, the one who carries himself like nothing can shake him, completely fell apart after an emotional movie scene. The director yelled, "Cut," the lights dimmed, people started packing up their equipment, but Maurice just kept crying. Not the kind of tears you wipe away quickly and laugh about later. No, these were the kind that come from somewhere deep, the kind that have been building up for months, maybe even years. Everyone froze. The entire crew exchanged confused glances because this wasn't in the script, and Maurice wasn't acting anymore. Something was very, very wrong, and the atmosphere shifted from professional to deeply personal in seconds. While everyone else stood there not knowing whether to approach him or give him space, Sonia Uche didn't hesitate for a second. She quietly slipped away from the group and followed him as he walked toward the back of the set where the props were stored. Nobody else dared to intrude on what was clearly a private moment, but later, crew members would whisper about what they witnessed from a distance. Behind those stacked boxes and forgotten set pieces, Maurice finally let his guard down completely. He told Sonia things he had never told anyone before, things he had been carrying alone because he thought that's what strong people do. He admitted that despite how confident and put together he appears to everyone, there are nights when fear grips him so tightly he can barely breathe. People look at him and assume he has everything figured out, that success came easy, that he's living his best life without a care in the world. But the truth? He's been silently trying to fix himself, piece by broken piece, while pretending everything is fine. What Maurice revealed next sent shockwaves through everyone who heard about it later. There was a time, not too long ago, when he almost lost absolutely everything that mattered to him. His career that he had worked so hard to build was hanging by a thread. Friendships he thought were solid crumbled under pressure and misunderstanding. And worst of all, he was losing himself, his sense of purpose, his joy, his hope, everything that made him who he was. Crew members who had worked with Maurice for years said they had never, not once, seen him this vulnerable. He's always been the private type, the one who keeps his struggles close to his chest and handles his business quietly. So for him to open up like this, to actually let someone see him completely broken down, was unprecedented. This wasn't the Maurice they knew, the one who cracked jokes between takes and kept the energy light on set. This was a man who had been fighting a silent war and finally couldn't carry the weight alone anymore. The timeline of Maurice's struggle began around early last year, and if you were watching from the outside, you probably didn't notice a single thing wrong. That's how good he got at hiding it. He was dealing with serious family issues that were pulling him in different directions, financial pressures that kept him up at night despite his success, and career stress that made him question whether any of it was even worth it anymore. On top of all that, he experienced one of the most painful things anyone can go through, betrayal by people he trusted completely. People he had opened his heart to, people he had helped when they needed it, people he thought would have his back no matter what, turn around and hurt him in ways that cut deep. The emotional burnout was real, and it was brutal. He would show up to set looking perfectly fine, smiling for the cameras, delivering his lines flawlessly, but the moment he got home, the mask came off and the suffering began again. The internet, as it often does, made everything 10 times worse. Online rumors started spreading like wildfire, and the constant dragging from people who didn't know him, who didn't know his story, who just wanted someone to tear down for entertainment, pushed him to his breaking point. Maurice reached a point where he seriously considered walking away from acting completely. Imagine that, someone with his talent, his passion, his dedication, almost giving it all up because the weight became too much to bear. He started questioning whether the spotlight was worth the constant scrutiny, whether the success was worth the price he was paying mentally and emotionally. It got so dark that he couldn't see a way forward anymore. But here's where the story takes a turn, and here's where Sonia Uche comes in as the quiet hero nobody knew about until now. Sonia was the first person who truly noticed that Maurice wasn't okay, and more importantly, she actually did something about it. While others might have noticed something was off but convinced themselves it wasn't their place to ask or assumed he'd be fine eventually, Sonia stepped in with genuine care and consistency. She checked on him regularly, not with prying questions or gossip-seeking curiosity, but with sincere concern for his well-being. She encouraged him when he felt like giving up, spoke life into him when all he could hear were negative voices, and prayed for him during his darkest moments. And here's something beautiful about Sonia's approach: she wasn't trying to be romantic or position herself for anything. This wasn't some calculated move to get closer to him or create a storyline. She was just genuinely caring, operating from a place of pure human kindness, the kind that's becoming increasingly rare in an industry known for competition and self-interest. The lengths Sonia went to support Maurice quietly speak volumes about her character. She would stay behind after everyone else had wrapped for the day, sacrificing her own rest and personal time just to make sure he wasn't alone with his thoughts. She sat with him for hours, not talking at him or trying to fix everything with quick solutions, but simply listening to everything he was going through without judgment or interruption. Crew members who observed their friendship from the outside described Sonia as someone who manages to be both incredibly strong and beautifully soft-hearted at the same time. She carries herself with confidence and professionalism, but she also has this nurturing quality that makes people feel safe enough to be vulnerable around her. Over time, with her consistent support and genuine presence, Maurice slowly started regaining the confidence he thought he'd lost forever. She helped him stand when he was falling apart, and he told her exactly that during his emotional confession. When Maurice finally put into words what Sonia's support meant to him, the entire crew was moved to tears. Sonia, being the humble person she is, tried brushing off the praise and downplaying her role in his recovery, but Maurice wouldn't let her diminish what she had done for him. He insisted that she made a real, tangible difference when he needed it most. He told her she didn't even fully understand how much she saved him, that she pulled him back from a ledge he didn't even realize he was standing on. One of the most powerful things Maurice shared was that Sonia restored his trust in people again. After being betrayed and hurt by people he thought cared about him, he had started building walls around his heart, convinced that people were generally out for themselves and genuine kindness was just an act. But Sonia proved him wrong just by being authentically herself, by showing up consistently, by caring without expecting anything in return. Maurice called Sonia one of the realest people in the entire entertainment industry, and coming from someone who has seen the fake, the phony, and the opportunistic up close, that statement carries serious weight. He went on to say that people don't know how many lives she has quietly helped behind the scenes, how many people she has encouraged when no cameras were rolling and no credit would be given. She's the type of person who does good simply because it's the right thing to do, not because she's building a public image or collecting favors for later. Maurice ended his confession with words that left everyone emotional: "I owe you for life." Not in a transactional way, not like he's keeping score, but in acknowledgement of a debt of gratitude that can never fully be repaid because you can't put a price on someone saving your life, even if that salvation came through emotional support rather than physical rescue. When word of Maurice's confession leaked online, because let's be honest, nothing stays private forever in this digital age, fans became incredibly emotional. Social media exploded with praise for Sonia's kindness and genuine heart. People started connecting the dots, realizing that the natural chemistry they've always loved between Maurice and Sonia on screen probably stems from this deep, authentic bond they share off-screen. Some fans couldn't help but wonder if their connection runs deeper than friendship, if maybe there's a romantic element developing from all this emotional intimacy. But insiders were quick to clarify that Maurice's confession wasn't romantic in nature at all. It was pure, Unfiltered gratitude from one human being to another who showed up when it mattered most. The love between them is real, but it's the kind of love that transcends romantic feelings. It's genuine care, deep respect, and unshakable loyalty. The overwhelming consensus online was that Sonia Uche should be protected at all costs. Fans praised her grace, her humility, and her good character in an industry that often rewards the opposite qualities. But Maurice also received tremendous praise for his courage in opening up and showing vulnerability. So many people, especially men, resonated with his story because society teaches men to suffer silently, to keep their struggles hidden, to maintain a strong exterior no matter what's happening internally. Maurice's honesty reminded people that men go through silent battles too, that they experience emotional pain and breakdown and need support systems just like anyone else. Fans said his willingness to be vulnerable and admit he needed help shows he has a pure heart, that real strength isn't about never falling down but about being honest enough to admit when you're struggling and humble enough to accept help. This entire story isn't just celebrity gossip or industry drama to entertain us for a few days before we move on to the next headline. This is a powerful reminder of real-life loyalty and genuine humanity in a world that often feels increasingly superficial and transactional. It shows us what true friendship looks like when someone is going through their darkest hour. It demonstrates the life-changing impact we can have on others simply by showing up consistently with genuine care and no ulterior motives. People now understand why Maurice and Sonia's bond seems unbreakable, why there's something different about the way they interact, why their friendship feels more authentic than the typical industry relationships we're used to seeing. They've been through something real together, something that forged a connection that won't easily be shaken by rumors, distance, or time. So here's my question for you. When was the last time you truly showed up for someone who was silently struggling? When did you look past the smiles and success and actually check if someone you care about is really okay? Maurice and Sonia's story challenges us to be more intentional about the people in our lives, to create spaces where vulnerability is safe, where people don't have to pretend they are fine when they are falling apart. If this story touched you, drop a comment sharing your thoughts or tag someone who has been your Sonia, someone who showed up when you needed them most. And don't forget to like this post and share it because this message of genuine human connection and loyalty needs to reach as many people as possible. We all need reminders that real ones still exist, and sometimes, one person caring enough can literally save someone's life.